Today, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 of the easiest foods that you can make in your Instant Pot. Hi, thanks so much for joining me. I am so glad that you're here today. It's been a while since I've put out a YouTube video. I've been in this summer slump, but I am back today to share with you 5 things that are super easy that you can make in your Instant Pot. And if you have that Instant Pot in your garage or your basement and you haven't been using it, I hope that these 5 things will help get you motivated to know that anybody can use the Instant Pot and have success. Let's get on to the 5 different foods that you can cook in your Instant Pot so easily. Let's go. The first thing that I love making in my Instant Pot is baked potatoes. So to make baked potatoes, add 1.5 cups of water into the bottom of your Instant Pot. And you'll notice here I have my trivet that is in the bottom, and that usually comes with your Instant Pot, a little wire rack that fits in the bottom. And then all you do is you add in potatoes, and I've scrubbed these clean, and you can lay them, flat like that, or if you have a bunch of them, you can line them up where they're standing up vertically like that. Today I'm just gonna have 5 littler, they're not huge, so I'm gonna just lay them sideways like this in the bottom of the pot. Now I will put the lid on, click it into place, and then I'm gonna set the pressure cook button, and yours might have the manual button depending on your model, but either pressure cook or manual, and you just push that button, and I'm gonna go up to 20 minutes. With potatoes, you cook by the thickness. So these were not the biggest potatoes, not the smallest, so I'm just going 20 minutes. Now, if they were huge, I would go 25, and if they were cut into halves, I would maybe do 10, 15 minutes. If they're cut into cubes, I would only do 4 or 8 minutes, not as long at all. So, all right, what's fun about the potatoes is that once the time is up, you can do a quick release, which just means you just automatically move the valve to venting. You can also just let the potatoes sit in here for as long as you need until you're ready to eat dinner. So it's kind of a very, it's not a finicky type of food. So that's why I like making baked potatoes. So I'm gonna release the pressure. Once you can, remove the lid. And your baked potatoes are fork tender and ready to eat. You can see they just open up nicely here. They taste great, served with butter, sour cream, bacon bits, cheese, loaded up. Now, if you like the crispy skin, you can rub these in olive oil, and you can just put under your oven's broiler just for a couple minutes. All right, the second food that I love making in the Instant Pot is rice. So rice is awesome because you can cook all types of rice. This is arborio, this white rice. I also have a thing of brown rice that I use often, and they all work great in your Instant Pot. There are a little bit of discrepancies between the ratio of rice to water depending on what kind of rice that you use. So I will put a chart in the notes below so that you can see how long you're supposed to cook and all that. But for white rice, which is what I'm making today, is just 1 cup rice. So 1 cup rice, and then 1.5 cups of water. And of course you can double that easily or triple it even. This is a 3-quart pot, so even in a small pot like this, you can make quite a bit of rice. Put that lid on. And again, we're gonna go to the pressure cook button. And I'm gonna cook for 5 minutes. Just push start and get that going. Okay, with our rice, you wanna let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes before you release the rest of the pressure. So it's been done for 9 minutes here. I'm gonna push the release button. Okay, once the valve drops, you can open the pot. And we have our perfectly cooked rice here that is ready to eat. The third thing that is so easy to make in your Instant Pot is any type of dried legumes. So I have kidney beans here that I bought in bulk at my grocery store. I bought some pinto beans. These are good for making your own refried beans, or a bag of lentils, which is what I'm going to show you today. But all of these things work great in your Instant Pot. You just throw them in with water, and I like to just make sure there's 1 or 2 inches of water that's above the legumes or lentils, and I just cook for the specified time. And I do have a cooking sheet that I will put in the notes below if you're interested in seeing how long to cook different types. Red beans cook different than pintos, cook different than blacks, etc. So I'm going to show you how I cook lentils, and then you can use these lentils, cooked lentils, to put in soups or dips, or I have this cheesy chicken lentil dish that I really like to make, things like that. But it's a good way to have healthy foods in your diet for very cheap and really easy to make. So I will show you now how to do that. So dump your lentils into your Instant Pot. And then, just like I said, you cover with water. And just make sure there's enough water in there, because these will soak up a lot of the water and expand. And you can always drain the water at the end if you need to. So that looks like enough. It's about 1 inch over. I will put the lid on. And this one needs the valve set to sealing. And I will push the manual button. And for lentils, they cook really quick and they need no soaking whatsoever. That's why I like them so much. I'm only going to use a 5-minute pressure cook time for these lentils, because I don't want them too mushy. I want them a little bit firm. All right, with any type of legume, you just want to be careful with the foam that might come out of your Instant Pot. So one tip that I like to teach people is you do this controlled release, which just means you push from sealing to venting, and then back to sealing, and you let it sit for a second, and then back. And if you see any foam coming out, you just let it sit sealing for about 20 seconds before you try venting again. And this is kind of equivalent to what you do with a 2-liter soda. You kind of open the you open the cap, it all fizzes up. You don't want it to come out and bubble over, so you put it back. You tighten it up again. Same thing with this. So I'm going to do the venting. It should be good just to leave on venting now. And there's no foam coming out of the pot, so we are good. You don't want to make a mess. Once the pressure's released, you can remove the lid. And you can see we have perfectly cooked lentils here. And they don't even need to be drained, so that is kind of the bonus. The fourth thing that is so easy to make in your Instant Pot are hard-boiled eggs. And I love making hard-boiled eggs at the beginning of a week. They're so easy to chop up and use on salads or to have for breakfast. It's an easy, portable protein snack that's only 90 calories or whatever it is. So let me show you how I make hard-boiled eggs. There's lots of different ways that you can make hard-boiled eggs in your Instant Pot. People have different methods. This is the way that I like to cook my hard-boiled egg. All right, so I'm gonna add 1.5 cups of water into the Instant Pot. And then you need some sort of trivet, or this is like a sling trivet kind of combo thing that I'm gonna put in the bottom of the Instant Pot. And then you pile as many eggs as you like in there. It's okay if they're touching each other. It's okay if they're kind of stacked on top of each other. That's just fine. And regardless of how many eggs you have in there, you'll want to use the same cooking time. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We'll do a dozen eggs, and put my lid on tight. Make sure valve is sealed. Make sure the sealing ring is in place. It is. Okay, sealing, and then we're going to push the manual button. and I like to do 2 minutes. So I'll do a 2-minute pressure cook time with the 10 to 15 minute natural pressure release. With our eggs, we're just gonna wait till this gets to 10 minutes, which is almost there. But in the meantime, I got some icy water. Alternately, if you don't wanna do the ice bath, you can put the eggs under just cold running water, and that works just fine too. So remove any remaining pressure which is already gone. There's no pressure left. And then you can take your eggs, use some tongs carefully, and they're hot, so place them in the nice cold water and just get them cold to the touch, and then you can place them in your refrigerator until you're ready to eat. The best part of Instant Pot hard-boiled eggs is I found they just peel like a dream. Farm fresh eggs tend to be very hard to peel, and so this is just one way of cooking hard-boiled eggs that just makes it really easy. And what I like to do is just keep the peels on until I'm actually ready to eat them. That just is keeps them a little bit fresher for longer, rather than if you peel them all and put it in like a Ziploc bag, they don't last as long. So that's what I would recommend. So we're almost out of room here. I might have gotten a dish that was a little bit too small, but I'll just keep these in here for just a couple of minutes. All right, so now you can just peel the eggs. And I just like to peel off that bottom part first, where it has kind of the air pocket, and it seems to be easier that way. They come off really nicely. Great for deviled eggs, egg salad sandwiches, Easter eggs, all the things, right? Now we'll just show you what it looks like on the inside. Yeah, it's perfectly cooked. I like how it doesn't have the gray ring around it. If you have the gray or bluish ring around the edge of your yolk, it just means that you've cooked it a little bit too long. So this makes perfectly boiled eggs every time. The last food item that is so easy to cook in your Instant Pot is a good old-fashioned pot roast. And this recipe that I uses a rump roast and only 3 main ingredients, I should say. It's a lot of hands-off time. So you throw it in the Instant Pot, it does have a longer cooking time, but it's all with hands off, not a lot of prep time and things like that. Rump roast into the Instant Pot. It's about 2.5 pounds of rump roast. I trimmed off the excess fat that was on the sides, but it didn't have a ton of fat to begin with. Now I'm gonna add in 2 cups of water. And then I picked up this au jus gravy mix packet at my grocery store. I'm gonna add that in. And then I'm gonna add in a onion soup mix packet. Looks like that. All right, so that's basically it. We're gonna go ahead and put the lid on. All right, we're gonna make sure the valve is set to sealing, which it is. Then we're gonna go ahead and set the timer. So we're gonna push the manual button, or if you have a pressure cook button, push that. Manual, and this recipe is gonna take a lot longer than most recipes that we make. We're gonna set this all the way up to 90 minutes. That's gonna ensure that the roast gets nice and tender. And then the Instant Pot will beep and we'll turn to the pressure building mode. Once your pot has finished the time that we set, the 90 minutes, you can go ahead and move the valve from sealing to venting. Once all the pressure has been released, go ahead and open the pot. And at this point, you can add in your vegetables. I'm gonna add in baby carrots and fairly big chunks of potatoes. Go ahead and replace the lid. Make sure valve is set to sealing. And we're gonna set it for manual. Oops, we gotta turn the off button first. And then manual, and we'll go down to 5 minutes. Just enough time to cook those carrots and potatoes. Once the pot starts beeping, you can go ahead and do a release of the pressure. Move the valve from venting or from sealing to venting. Once you can, go ahead and remove the lid. It looks fantastic. I'm gonna go ahead and scoop the vegetables and meat onto this platter, and then I'm going to make a gravy with the drippings that remain. Okay, now that I have everything on my platter, I'm gonna go ahead and switch this over to the saute mode. You have to turn it to the off first, right there, and then turn it to saute, right there. And that's just gonna turn it on so that it kind of heats up the pot. Just like if this was on a stove burning, that's kind of what it is doing right now in the saute mode. So while that's heating up, I'm gonna go ahead and mix together equal parts cold water with cornstarch. This is just gonna go ahead and thicken the gravy very nicely. I did about 2 tablespoons of water and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. So I'm gonna get my whisk. I'm gonna go ahead and whisk this cornstarch into the broth and drippings that remain in the pot. Go ahead and just whisk that up until it thickens. It should only take a couple of minutes to thicken. Once it starts bubbling up, you know it's pretty much thickened by then. We have a nice thick gravy. Go ahead and turn off the pot. And then I'm gonna go ahead and serve my roast potatoes, carrots, and gravy. Thank you so much for watching these 5 easiest things to make in your Instant Pot. I hope this was helpful to you, and I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this a thumbs up. Give me some ideas for videos or things that you'd like to see on my YouTube channel specifically. I'd love it if you would join me over my website, 365daysofcrockpot.com. I basically share a new Instant Pot recipe with you almost every single day over there. You can sign up for my daily emails where I do send you a daily Instant Pot recipe. I look forward to hearing from you, and we will see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.